Hello. In this video I'm going to show you how you can connect an external controller, so a Gamepad or radio control transmitter with a USB interface to an Android tablet or phone running Android 3 or above and supporting USB on the go. So to do this we need a USB controller. So here I've got a kind of fake radio control transmitter. You can use a Gamepad, as I say. And you'll also need one of these, which is a USB on-the-go connector, and they're very cheap to buy, very cheap. So here we plug it into the transmitter, making we do it right around, and then that just goes into the USB socket on the device. So here I'm using a Nexus 7. Yeah, so we have to plug it in first, and you often don't see any indication when you plug it in. You just have to trust that it's working. But there are some other free apps that you can use just to check. So if you search for something like USB host diagnostics or something like that on Google Play, you can find programs that will just let you check to see whether or not your device is being recognised. Sorry, your controller is being recognised by the device. So what we're going to do, just clear any previous settings. So what we're going to do is just load up a plane and some scenery. So load up the Extra 3D because that uses pretty much all the functionality. So I can show you how to set it up. And so now it's loaded, and you can see that, like normal, you can use the on-screen controls and so on. So we want to map the physical controller onto the on-screen controls. So in the settings, we go to the joystick tab, and here first of all, as it says, you need to connect your joystick or transmitter or whatever before running PicaSim. Otherwise, PicaSim doesn't update to any devices that are plugged in. So the first thing to do is we need to actually select the input device. So potentially there might be multiple devices or whatever. So there's a slider here, and you can just move it around, and hopefully your device will come up as one of these things. And if it doesn't, then you probably need to check to see whether or not your device is able to support USB on the go and gamepads and so on. So here we can slide it around and we see it comes up with the Game Commander device, which is great. So first thing, we want to clear any existing joystick settings. Okay, so first of all we're going to enable the joystick, and then we're going to go through and try and set things up. So to do that we're going to move the sticks around and see what changes. So as I move the sticks, I see if I move this one left and right, then these numbers change. One thing that's a little bit annoying is that Android actually interprets the stick movements as user input changes. So sometimes you find yourself changing the controls when you don't really want to. Anyway, if I move this to the left and right, you can see these numbers are changing. It shows you the input value and how that maps onto the output value. So first of all, so moving this stick, which is what I use in mode 2 for the ailerons, I want to map that onto the roll stick, the on-screen roll stick for rolling the plane, so the aileron control. And when that's mapped on, we want to just go through and calibrate this movement. So press when the stick is centered. Okay, move the stick to the left and press it. Move the stick to the right and press the next button. And so now, when I move the stick, you can see whatever the input's doing, the output ranges from -1 to around about +1. And this controller is a bit noisy and not very accurate, so it doesn't always map onto exactly 1. Also, we have the ability to change the dead zone, which is the region in the middle. So if you can see, if I make little movements of the stick, the output doesn't change, and then it starts to change. And that can be useful for getting rid of jitter if your stick doesn't center properly, which happens in some gamepads. But for this one, you actually want to have the dead zone very small indeed. Oops. Okay. And then we're going to move through to the other sticks. So as I move the sticks around, I can see this one's changing here. So I want to map the up-down movement to the pitch control. So we do the same thing, press this button when it's centered, press this one when it's down, press that one when it's up. Just move the dead zone, make it smaller. Yeah. I think actually maybe it's best to do the dead zone first. Is that right? Yes, I think you need to do the dead zone first. So we'll do this one over here. Okay. So now we're going to move on and do the other sticks. So as we move these up, so okay, so this one here, the throttle control, we want to map to speed control. In here we want to map the range, so put it in the middle. This one's centered. Actually, get rid of that dead zone. And bring it down, bring this up. Now, yeah, the range is good. And find the yaw control, so as I move it left to right, things changing. There it goes, this is the one changing, so I'm going to find the yaw control there. Let's turn on dead zone. Turn that on first. And get one centered, one left, and right. Okay, so that's all the analog sticks. So it's pretty quick really. And we also, it's got a couple of buttons on here which you can map to various things. So as I change the buttons, we want to keep an eye out for what numbers are changing in the button inputs. And so this one here I like to use for the dual rate control. So just map it to the rates button. There's one behind. There we go. And we're going to map that one to the relaunch button. And then if I push it away from me, there's another one back there which mapped to the pause and play button. So I can control the main things. Right, so now that's all done, we can just go back and let's see if it works. So I move this stick. You can see the on-screen stick moves around here, moves around in a nice square, which is great. Over here, left and right, throttle, and so on. So now we can launch with the buttons. Move fly around. So one of the things to note is that with this controller, as I say, for some reason it's not very accurate, and the inputs is quite jittery. So if I move the stick slowly, you can see it, the control and here sort of jumps between certain values. But I think most controllers won't actually be like that. So gamepads and so on aren't like that. Oops, excuse me. So actually I can show you now how to set up Xbox 360 controller, which is actually a lot easier because I already have configs set up for you just to use straight away. So we need to exit out first before changing the device. So I'll move that away. Here's my Xbox 360 controller. I'll just plug it in. There we go. Oops. There's Android trying to interpret it. I'll start up PicaSim again. And just a moment. Here we go. So just use the same plane and scenery again. Right, so now you can see as I move the sticks around, all things are moving on the screen, but they're not right. You can see the edge ones are totally out because the mapping's all wrong. So we want to go back to the joystick tab again, and yeah, so it's detected that it's an Xbox 360 controller. But as I said, you could go through this and set up all the controls yourself, but I've actually provided a setup for you which will hopefully work just straight away. You can just go and load the Xbox 360 controls and go back, and there we are. Everything's good. So now A pauses and unpauses, the shoulder button toggles the dual rates, and you can fly around. And as I say, this should work with pretty much all USB devices. So it could be a radio control transmitter with a USB interface, or a gamepad, so Xbox 360 controller, or PS2 control, PS2 controller, whatever uses USB, and so on. And I hope, well, this is, you can see the movers on this are much smoother, and so it's certainly capable of very nice smooth inputs. So yes, so hopefully this will help you enjoy the simulator and get more out of it. Okay, so thank you very much for listening. I hope this has been helpful for you, helpful to you for setting things up. And if you've got any questions, then please do ask, and I'll try and answer them.